So last week, some of you may know the American Medical Association classified obesity as a disease. Fuck them. Say it with me. Fuck them. Thank you. I am a little bit tired because I went on an OkCupid date last night with somebody who ended up looking like Taylor Lautner. It was a great surprise, friends. All right. I'm going to read you from my chapter in Hot and Heavy. It's called Pecan Pie, Sex, and Other Revolutionary Things. I will be talking about sex and fat and lots of other things, so stay with me.
Get it, girl!
Woo! Okay. I'm one of those progressive, fat-loving, fat-activist fat girls. I'm one of those whoopie pie in one hand, vibrator in the other kind of fat girls. I'm one of those take no prisoners, potty-mouthed, kiss my ass, gorilla fatties, and my weapons of choice are pink, glitter, cleavage, and impossibly short dresses. And no, I'm not sorry. People often want to know how exactly a fat brown girl manages to learn to love a body that is perpetually under attack. Well, falling in love with my body took a long time. Like any good love story, there was drama and tears, false starts and heartbreak, pecan pie binges, and dirty sex. In the beginning, I was born under a funny star. My grandma says that the angels went through the entire baby mall in heaven just to find me. Some of the babies were too light-skinned to be a half Mexican, half Iranian baby, and some had freckles, which no one in the family had. Some were too skinny, and some didn't have any hair on their heads. By the time my mother was on the delivery table screaming and hurling epithets, my fate had been determined. The angels had chosen a little fat girl with curly black hair, a penchant for sweet things, and a tendency towards sexual precociousness. Imagine 4 fat Mexicans and 1 chubby little half Mexican driving to get Chinese takeout in a 1979 Pinto, and you've got the day after my birth. My grandma says that I slept peacefully for the time I was in the hospital, but the moment I smelled that mushu, I was awake and ready to fulfill my destiny. As a little girl, I was self-assured and had an affinity for flirtation and sweet and sour pork. I like dressing up and masturbation. I'm not sure how I figured out how to masturbate, but I thought I was the only person in the world who knew it existed, and spent many an evening planning out how I would make my fortune by training people to do it to other people for a lot of money. I called it vagina tickling, and I can't imagine how I knew the word for vagina, but not the word for masturbation. I was hot shit in preschool. I had an uber hot Chinese boyfriend named Ray Ray. And he loved me for my body. Ray Ray was about half my size, and every day after school, I remember feeling my heart beating quickly, pumping blood into my cheeks. I could hear it loudly pumping in my ears. I would lie spread out completely like a little olive-toned, pot-bellied snow angel on the big rug that had all the alphabet letters and the numbers 0 through 10 embroidered into it, and I would wait for Ray Ray to run from the edge of the rug and fall on top of me, hugging me, laughing with me, loving me. Okay, we're fast forwarding just a little. Elementary school. Sometimes after school, my mom would take me to what we called simply the canned food store, which is like the Ross for food. Everything is slightly irregular. The last stop, the food morgue. When enormous cans of peaches got dented, they got sent to the canned food store. When a huge batch of chocolates was wrapped with the wrong wrapper, it was sent to the canned food store. And sometimes you had to guess what might be wrong with the food because there were no visible signs of irregularity. But they took food stamps and we had those. The canned food store had the best pecan pies in the world in the frozen section. They might still have them. I've always had a love of pastries, and it doesn't get much better than some good-ass pecan pie. My mom loved pecan pie too. She never quite knew how to deal with the anguish that my fat caused me as a child, but she always had a new tip on how to finally beat it. These were all ideas she tried on herself first, I could tell. This day we made a trip to the canned food store because I'd been made fun of and was inconsolable. She said that the sure way to lose weight was to learn to hate the food that tasted the best, because that was the food that made you fat. She said we could get 1 pecan pie each, eat the whole thing, therefore crossing it off the list because we'd get sick and it would never appeal to us again. I can still remember how good that pecan pie was and how I knew in my little subversive heart that I could never give up pecan pie. I didn't finish the pie or get sick, but I guess this set the stage for more experiments. Puberty in my grandparents' conservative, religious, Mexican household was hard on my burgeoning sexuality. I refer to that era as pussy lockdown. I wasn't allowed to date or go out alone. Walking to the mailbox on the corner was pushing it. I was not taught to ride a bicycle or skate, nor was I allowed near a trampoline or a car, lest I attempt escape. And what sucked every dick in the neighborhood, I'm not sure what exactly they were afraid of. Okay, I guess if I were honest, I was a girl whose future slut potential was apparent in the way that I batted my eyes at my cousins, the cashier at the grocery store, the pastor of the church, or really anyone who looked like a boy. But I was a Sunday school teacher too, and when I wasn't teaching toddlers about hell or learning how to conjugate Latin verbs, I was in Latin. I was masturbating. By the time I was 18, my hormones were ready to have a debutante ball all their own. My young adulthood was just about to begin. It would prove to be the point in my story where those punk-ass suburban kids got proven wrong. The point in my story where I would discover my delicious sexuality anew and how my round, chubby body was every bit a part of that deliciousness. Once I officially became a grown-up, I found the love for myself that I'd lost so many years before. I'm gonna move just one more little tidbit for you. Okay, I started to become excited about the idea of being a radical fat girl. And one day, when a woman on the commuter train told her boyfriend in a loud whisper that I was too fat to wear the very fabulous outfit I had on, I gave her a big slice of bitch pie. I walked right up to her, my face no more than a foot from hers, and I told her that my body was mine, that I could wear whatever I wanted to wear, that she needn't be threatened by my short skirt, and that I looked good. Real good. I did not insult her or berate her. I simply felt it polite to inform her that the era of fat girl apologies and tastelessly retrograde fat-phobic remarks is coming to a close. Woo! And the day of the fierce too much to handle fat girl is close at hand. And then I sat down right next to her. We sat there in silence for 45 minutes. From downtown San Francisco all the way to the motherfucking Pacific Ocean. The end of the line. I felt like the Rosa Parks of fat.